Want to do, that's fine with us. We'll see you back about 6 o'clock down at Camp Bob Cooper, and helps us there. Garland had the pleasure of being in the Williamsburg Drum and Fife Corps when he was in school there, and has continued it on. The amazing thing is his uniform still fits. So he's going to give you some of the uses and the sounds and so forth of the fife. Garland.
Thank you. Well, it's good to be here. First time I've been on stage here at the Bow Center, but it's also good to be here on this side of it to share with you a little bit about the fife. As George said, my name is Garland Hart, and I've been playing the fife since 1968. And in mathematicians, that's 43 years ago. So I've been playing the fife for 43 years. But I've enjoyed it. I played it at the Fife and Drum Corps there in Williamsburg, Colonial Williamsburg. When I was 12, I joined the Corps, and I've been playing it ever since, although not as much as I did back then. But went off to college at Wake Forest University, David Deacons, and while I was in Winston-Salem, I had an opportunity to join a reenacting group. The North Carolina 6th Continental Line recruited me to be one of their fifers. And that's where I got my dress. The regimental coat was given to me by the Corps, the group there, but the rest of what I'm wearing, the overalls, the waistcoat, and the shirt, I made myself. I got patterns and made it myself. So I was good. The hat, I didn't make, but I got that. But musicians were very important back during the Revolutionary War. You can imagine probably the most important reason for musicians was for a line of communication, a source of communication. And that was very important because the musicians, the fifers and the drummers, were responsible for conveying the commands to the troops. They didn't have radios back then. They didn't have walkie-talkies or computers or any type of technical communication. But they had the fifes and the drums. Imagine being on the battlefield with the muskets going off and the cannons going off, and the commanding officer wanted you to advance. No one could hear his command, voice commands, so they would give the commands to the fifers and the drummers, and they would signal the troops to advance or to halt, to retreat. The tunes that the fifes would play and the beatings that the drums would play would be responsible for communicating the commands to the troops. So it was a source of communication. Another reason for the fifes and drums was for a source of morale. Anyone who's in the Army or the Navy or the Marines or whatever, a service, if you're out there fighting, it can be very depressing, frustrating. So they always have to find a way to keep the morale up. Imagine you being an officer or commanding your troops and marching from place to place. They didn't have transportation as much as we have today, but a lot of transportation was by walking. And so as they walked and marched, the fifers and drummers would play, keeping the morale up. And also during the camps, when they were camped at night or whatever, the fifers and drummers would play to keep the morale up. So those are two basic reasons for the fifers and drummers at that time. Let me play a few songs for you. This next song I'm going to play is called The World Turned Upside Down. And traditionally, it's been known as a song that was played in 1781 when the British were surrendered at Lord Cornwallis surrendered in Yorktown. Now, there's some critics that will disagree with that, but tradition has it was played back then because when they marched and surrendered, it was the world turned upside down for the British. Talk a little bit now about my uniform. You see I'm wearing a red coat. And what do you think that represents? The red coat.
Somebody can see you.
Well, that's true. The musicians wore the reverse colors of the troops. So the troops that I'll be playing for would have the blue coat with the red facing. And that was, I'm sorry, I'm not used to the microphone. The musicians would wear the reverse colors of the troops. And that was so that the commanding officer would know where the musicians were and could go there and communicate with them the commands that need to be ordered. And so that's why the musicians were wearing a red coat. That's why I'm wearing a red coat, was because I was a musician, and that could be identified as such. I'm going to play another song for you that you're probably familiar with, Yankee Doodle. If you want to sing along, help yourself. That's all I have now. Are there any questions from anybody that would have any? Well, I'm glad to have been here to play for you, and I hope you've enjoyed your stay here yesterday, today, and the Francis Bean Symposium. I'll turn it back over to George.